It's been 24 hours since the power went out, and let's be real, most people are already screwing up. Sure, your fridge might still be humming faintly, but don't kid yourself. That cold air is on borrowed time, and those batteries you thought would last, they're draining faster than you expected. You're not as ready as you think you are. Day one was the warm-up, the panic phase. Everyone rushing to save their frozen pizzas, hoarding water, lighting candles, and pretending they've got it all under control. But day two? That's when the real cracks start to show. This isn't just about canned beans and flashlights anymore. Day two is where the hidden dangers creep in, the ones no one warns you about until it's too late. And trust me, most people are completely unprepared for what's coming. Your phone's at 20%, the power's still out, and suddenly your so-called backup plan is falling apart. The things you didn't think about, like the silent threats lurking in your home, are about to turn this blackout into a full-blown survival nightmare. If you're not ready for day two, you're already behind. Let's break it down. On water crisis, the silent threat you didn't see coming. By day two of a blackout, water isn't just a convenience, it's survival. And most people, they're already in trouble. That tap you've relied on your whole life, it's either dry or dangerously unreliable. If you're in an apartment, the pumps probably failed hours ago, leaving you with nothing but air when you turn the faucet. And for those with gravity-fed systems, don't get too comfortable. Municipal water treatment plants need power to keep water flowing and safe. No electricity means no pressure, no filtration, and no guarantees. You might still have water trickling out, but is it drinkable? Probably not. Boil notices will hit your area like a freight train, but here's the kicker. How are you boiling water without power? Your electric kettle is a paperweight, and your gas stove might be useless without an igniter. If you didn't think ahead, you're already behind. That stash of bottled water you thought would last, it's disappearing faster than you imagined. Drinking, cooking, washing hands, brushing teeth, it all adds up. And let's not forget your pets. That 24-pack of water bottles you grabbed in a panic, it's a joke. You're realizing now that you didn't plan for the basics, let alone the extras. And then there's the toilet. Flushing eats up water reserves like a sponge in a drought. If your toilet tank is empty and there's no water pressure, what's your plan? Did you fill the bathtub on day one like you were supposed to? Or did you assume the power would come back before it became an issue? By day two, water scarcity isn't just a background worry, it's the main event. Dehydration creeps in, hygiene takes a nosedive, and the clock on your family's health starts ticking. But it's not too late to fix this. First, get resourceful. That water heater in your basement? It's a hidden jackpot. Turn off the power or gas to it, let it cool, and drain it from the bottom valve. That's clean water you can use. Didn't fill the tub? Find anything that can hold water. Trash cans lined with clean bags, buckets, pots, pans. If there's even a trickle left in your tap, collect it now. For filtration, a basic camping filter can save the day, making rainwater or questionable tap water drinkable. No filter? Boil water using a rocket stove, barbecue grill, or even a metal coffee can over a fire. And if you're desperate, use bleach. 8 drops per gallon of clear water, wait 30 minutes, and it's safer than nothing. As for toilets, it's time to get creative. Use the 2-bucket system, one for liquids, one lined with a trash bag for solids. It's not glamorous, but it works. Water is life. And by day two, it's the difference between staying in control and spiraling into chaos. 2. Food spoilage. The clock is ticking. Day two of a blackout is when your food situation goes from inconvenient to critical. On day one, your fridge was still cold and you probably managed to scrape together a meal while pretending everything was fine. But now? That sour smell creeping out of your fridge is your first warning sign. The clock on your perishable food has officially run out, and most people are making it worse without even realizing it. Every time you open that fridge door, you're letting out what little cold air is left. It's like trying to cool your house by leaving the fridge open. Completely pointless and only speeding up the inevitable. So, what's the game plan? First, stop opening the fridge unless you absolutely have to. Every second that door is open is another nail in the coffin for your food. Next, prioritize what to eat. High-protein, high-calorie foods like meat, dairy, and eggs should be at the top of your list. These are the first to spoil and the most important to consume while they're still safe. If they're already warming up, cook them immediately. Even if you can't eat it all, cooked food lasts longer than raw, and you can store it in a cooler with whatever ice you have left. No ice? Improvise. Keep the cooler in the coolest, shadiest spot you can find, like a basement, and drape a wet towel over it to help keep the temperature down. But cooking brings its own set of challenges. If your electric stove is dead, do you have a backup plan? A gas grill, propane stove, or even a simple camping stove can be a lifesaver. No propane? Time to get creative. Use charcoal, wood, or even a makeshift fire pit to cook your food. And don't forget about your freezer. Once it starts to thaw, it's a race against time. A half-thawed chicken isn't just gross, it's a breeding ground for bacteria. Cook it now or risk turning your blackout into a food poisoning nightmare. Even your canned goods aren't as foolproof as you think. Without a manual can opener, you're stuck playing a dangerous game of stab the can with a kitchen knife. It's inefficient, risky, and a surefire way to add injury to your growing list of problems. The key to surviving day 2 is strategy. Keep the fridge closed, cook perishables first, and use every resource at your disposal. This isn't the time for fancy meals. It's about staying fed and healthy. Play it smart, and you'll make it through. 3. Light failure. When the darkness becomes dangerous. By the second day of a blackout, the glow of your flashlights and lanterns is fading, and so is your confidence. That cheap flashlight you grabbed from the dollar bin, it's already sputtering like it's on its last breath. And that headlamp you thought was a lifesaver? It's now dimmer than a dying candle. Let's not even talk about your fancy rechargeable lantern. It's as useless as a brick without power to recharge it. This is the moment when most people realize they've made a critical mistake. They didn't stockpile enough batteries. Those AAs you scavenged from the TV remote? Dead. The ones you found in the junk drawer? Also dead. And that rechargeable power bank you were so proud of? It's drained. And there's no way to bring it back to life. By nightfall on day 2, your home transforms into a shadowy labyrinth. Every creak and groan of the house feels amplified, and without reliable light, even the most familiar spaces become treacherous. Stubbed toes, tripping hazards, and the eerie feeling of being surrounded by darkness. It's enough to make anyone feel vulnerable. Here's the harsh truth. Every time you flick on that flashlight, you're burning through precious battery life. Did you think to ration your light usage? Did you invest in energy-efficient LED flashlights, or did you settle for the cheapest option? And what about extra batteries? Did you stock up, or did you assume a single pack would be enough? Even candles, which seem like a simple solution, come with their own set of problems. Open flames and kids? Recipe for disaster. And those tiny tea lights you found in the back of a drawer? They'll burn out in a couple of hours, leaving you in the dark once again. But don't panic. There are ways to regain control. First, ration your light. Use flashlights sparingly and only when absolutely necessary. Switch to the lowest brightness setting to conserve battery life. Dig out any camping headlamps or solar lanterns you might have stashed away. Even a dim headlamp is better than nothing. If you have solar-powered lanterns, make sure to charge them during the day, even if the sunlight is weak. For candles, safety is key. Place them in deep jars or lantern housings to prevent accidents, and keep them far away from flammable materials like curtains. And, if you're lucky enough to have a stash of extra batteries, rotate them regularly to ensure they're still good. Light isn't just about convenience, it's about safety and security. Don't let the darkness win. 4. Sanitation Breakdown. When your toilet turns against you, by day 2 of a blackout, your toilet is no longer your friend, it's your worst nightmare. If you're on municipal water, the pumps are probably still down, which means flushing is out of the question. And if you're on a septic system, that fancy tank in your yard is useless without water to refill it. Even if you had the foresight to store some water for flushing, it's running out fast. Every flush becomes a calculated decision. Do you waste precious water on the toilet or save it for drinking and cooking? And then there's the smell. By now your bathroom is starting to reek, and it's not just unpleasant, it's a health hazard. Without running water, hygiene takes a nosedive. No hand washing, no cleaning, no showers. That tiny bottle of hand sanitizer you've been clinging to? It's almost empty, and you're rationing every drop like it's liquid gold. Did you stock up on disposable wipes, or are you improvising with tissues and paper towels? And if you run out? What's your plan? Reusable cloths? Sure, until you realize there's no water to wash them. Trash is piling up too. Those plastic bags you used to toss without a second thought are now holding waste, and there's nowhere to put them. If you didn't plan ahead, you're facing some tough choices. Bag it, bury it, or live with the stench. And with every passing hour, the risk of disease grows. Your once comfortable home is now a breeding ground for bacteria, and the psychological toll is just as bad. Nobody wants to admit their house smells like a public restroom, but denial won't fix the problem. So, what's the solution? First, if you still have water, prioritize flushing once or twice a day. Using it sparingly. Flushing isn't an option. Line your toilet bowl with a heavy-duty trash bag. Sprinkle in some kitty litter, sawdust, or baking soda to help control the smell. When the bag is full, seal it tightly and store it outside, far from your living space. For hygiene, keep hand sanitizer within arm's reach and use it after every bathroom visit. If you've run out, set up a makeshift hand-washing station using a small jug of water and a bar of soap. Disposable wipes can be a lifesaver, but if you're out, consider cutting up old t-shirts or towels into reusable cloths. Just remember, you'll need a plan to clean them later. Sanitation might not be glamorous, but it's non-negotiable. A little effort now can save you from a much bigger problem later. Don't let your toilet, or the lack of one, be your downfall. 5. Dead phones and the communication black hole. By day 2 of a blackout, your phone is no longer a lifeline. It's a ticking time bomb of anxiety. That battery bar is flashing red, and you've already tried every trick in the book to stretch its life. You've dimmed the screen, turned off Wi-Fi, and maybe even switched to airplane mode. But let's be honest, without a generator or solar charger, your phone is living on borrowed time. Remember those USB power banks you thought would save the day? They seemed like a genius idea, until you realized they only give you 1 or 2 charges. And guess what? You burned through all of them on day 1, checking on family, scrolling for news updates, and doom-scrolling social media for answers. Now, your phone is nothing more than a glorified paperweight. Even if you somehow manage to keep it charged, who are you calling? Cell towers might be down, texts aren't going through, and calls drop before they even connect. That trusty landline, silent. And with no way to reach emergency services, no updates from local authorities, and no clue how long this blackout will last, the panic starts to set in. Is help on the way? Will the power come back tomorrow? Or are you in for a week of this chaos? The uncertainty is crushing. But it's not just about logistics. It's about mental health. That phone was your tether to the outside world, your source of comfort and control. Without it, every problem feels insurmountable. Every creak in the house sounds like a threat. Every shadow outside feels like danger. Did you plan for this? Did you think to grab a crank radio for emergency broadcasts? Do you even have a printed list of important contacts? Or were you banking on your phone to do all the heavy lifting? Day 2 is when it hits you. We've become dangerously dependent on a single device, and when it fails, so do we. But don't lose hope. There are ways to stay connected, even in the dark. If you planned ahead, a solar charger or hand-crank generator can keep your phone alive for critical updates. A basic AM/FM or NOAA weather radio can provide emergency information when your phone can't. And if you didn't plan ahead, now's the time to start thinking about how to communicate without relying on technology. Because in a blackout, information isn't just power, it's survival. 6. The mental strain of boredom and isolation. By day 2, the novelty of a blackout has worn off and the reality of endless hours with nothing to do is setting in. That candlelit dinner you tried to make romantic? Now it's just another meal in the dark. The kids who were laughing and playing flashlight tag last night? They're bored out of their minds, and their restlessness is starting to wear on everyone. This is when the mental strain really starts to creep in, and most people are completely unprepared for it. Humans thrive on routine, and the blackout has thrown yours out the window. No streaming your favorite shows, no music playlists to lighten the mood, no video calls to friends, and no podcasts to distract you. If your phone is dead, even those small comforts are gone. And let's face it, most people didn't think to prepare for the emotional toll of a prolonged power outage. They stocked up on canned goods and batteries, but forgot about the long, empty hours that come with no electricity. The tension builds with every passing minute. The kids are fighting over the last board game, the adults are snapping at each other over nothing, and every little annoyance feels magnified. That dripping faucet you never noticed before? Now it's driving you insane. The creak of the floorboards, it's like nails on a chalkboard. And without screens to distract you, every conversation feels like a chore. Did you think to pack a deck of cards, a few good books, or even a journal to help process what's happening? If not, you're in for a long, slow grind of boredom. And that's when mistakes happen. Stress leads to bad decisions, arguments flare up, and the morale that kept everyone going on day one starts to crumble. And then there's sleep, or the lack of it. With no power, there's no AC, no heater, and no white noise to drown out the sounds of the night. Every bark from a neighbor's dog, every shuffle of feet, even your own breathing feels amplified. Sleep deprivation sets in, making day 3 even harder to face. Entertainment might seem like a luxury, but it's not. It's a critical part of maintaining mental health during a crisis. Without it, the hours drag on and the stress becomes unbearable. This is the time to get creative. Assign everyone a role to keep them busy. Kids can help with small chores, adults can organize tasks, and storytelling can become a nightly ritual. Staying busy isn't just about passing the time, it's about keeping spirits up and preventing the cracks from turning into full-blown fractures. Because in a blackout, mental health is just as important as food and water. 7. Forgotten essentials: medications, hygiene, and pet supplies. By day 2 of a blackout, the focus shifts from just surviving to realizing what you've overlooked. It's not just about food and flashlights anymore, it's about the essentials that keep you and your loved ones healthy and functioning. Medications, hygiene products, and pet supplies are often the first things people forget. And by now, the consequences are hitting hard. Imagine opening your medicine cabinet only to find a nearly empty bottle of insulin or a single puff left in your inhaler. Pharmacies are closed, and there's no way to restock. Suddenly, that minor oversight becomes a life-threatening crisis. It's not just prescription meds either. Over-the-counter essentials like pain relievers, allergy meds, and antacids are just as critical. Got a headache? Too bad. Stomach upset? Deal with it. And if you're managing chronic conditions like high blood pressure, asthma, or diabetes, running out of medication isn't just inconvenient, it's dangerous. Skipping doses to stretch your supply might seem like a solution, but it's a gamble with your health. Then there's hygiene. It's easy to laugh off the idea of personal care during a crisis, until you're on day 2 without running water. Brushing your teeth feels like a luxury when you're rationing your last bottle of water. Showers? Forget it. Dry shampoo, hand sanitizer, and baby wipes become your best friends. And let's not even get started on feminine hygiene products. If you didn't stock up, you're improvising with whatever you can find, and it's not pretty. Pet owners face their own set of challenges. That half-empty bag of kibble you thought would last? It's disappearing faster than you expected. Your dog or cat doesn't understand why their bowl is empty, and their expectant stares only add to your stress. If your pet needs medication, the stakes are even higher. No vet, no pet stores, no help. You're on your own, and your furry friend is counting on you. The mental toll of these oversights is crushing. Do you ration your water for your dog or save it for yourself? Do you skip a dose of your medication to make it last longer? These are the tough decisions you're now forced to make. The lesson here is clear. Stock up on at least a 2-week supply of essential medications and rotate them regularly. Keep dry shampoo, hand sanitizer, and dental wipes on hand for hygiene. For pets, ensure you have at least a week's worth of food, water, and any necessary meds. A little preparation goes a long way in avoiding these day 2 disasters. 8. Nighttime security when darkness feels dangerous. As the sun sets on day 2, a new kind of fear creeps in: security. Last night the darkness felt eerie but manageable. Tonight it feels downright threatening. With no streetlights, every shadow outside your window looks suspicious. The neighborhood you once felt safe in now feels like a scene from a horror movie. And the worst part? Your home security systems are offline. That smart home with its cameras and alarms, completely useless without power. Suddenly, your home doesn't feel as secure as it used to. Windows that once seemed sturdy now feel like weak points. Doors that you thought were solid suddenly seem flimsy. And that deadbolt you relied on? It's not much comfort when you realize how desperate people can get. Because here's the harsh truth: desperation changes people. Even the friendliest neighbor might start eyeing your generator or the faint glow of your candles. To someone who didn't prepare, your stash of supplies could look like their salvation, and they might be willing to do whatever it takes to get it. Did you think about blackout curtains? If you've got a candle or lantern burning, it's like a neon sign advertising that your house has power, food, or water. That's all it takes to attract unwanted attention. And let's not forget, law enforcement is likely overwhelmed, if they're even operational. You're on your own, and the responsibility of keeping your family safe falls squarely on your shoulders. So what's your plan? Did you think about securing your home? A simple stick in the sliding door track can prevent it from being forced open. An improvised alarm, like a stack of cans that will crash to the floor if disturbed, can give you a heads up if someone tries to break in. And most importantly, did you plan to keep a low profile? Staying quiet, keeping lights dim, and avoiding unnecessary noise can make your home less of a target. By day 2, your home stops feeling like a sanctuary and starts to feel like a potential target. The stress of knowing you're vulnerable can be overwhelming, but it's not too late to take action. Reinforce your doors and windows, keep your supplies out of sight, and have a plan for what to do if someone tries to get in. Security isn't just about locks and alarms. It's about being prepared for the worst. Because in a blackout, the darkness isn't just inconvenient, it can be dangerous. 9. Surviving without HVAC, the battle against extreme temperatures. By day 2 of a blackout, the absence of heating or cooling isn't just uncomfortable, it's a direct threat to your survival. If you're facing cold weather, the chill starts to seep into every corner of your home. That drafty window you ignored, it now feels like an Arctic wind tunnel. Blankets might help, but let's be real. How many do you actually have? Layering clothes can only do so much, and if you're sitting still, your body temperature drops even faster. Hypothermia doesn't announce itself with a warning. It creeps in slowly, and by the time you notice, it's already a serious problem. On the flip side, if you're dealing with a heat wave, the lack of air conditioning turns your home into an oven. Dehydration sneaks up on you as you sweat through the day, and the relentless heat saps your energy. That fan you relied on, it's useless now. The cool shower you were counting on? Forget it. Heat exhaustion and heat stroke are real dangers, and they don't care how tough you think you are. Without a way to cool down, your body is under constant stress, and that stress weakens your immune system, leaving you more vulnerable to illness. Your HVAC system isn't just about comfort, it's a lifeline. Without it, you're forced to get creative. In the cold, insulating your windows with blankets or plastic sheeting can help trap heat. Huddling together under layers of clothing and blankets can conserve body warmth. Staying active, like doing light exercises, can keep your blood flowing and your body temperature stable. In the heat, damp cloths on your neck and wrists can provide temporary relief. Keeping your home as dark as possible during the day and opening windows at night can help regulate the temperature. But if you didn't prepare for this, day 2 will hit you like a ton of bricks. The key to surviving without HVAC is preparation. Stock up on thermal blankets, hand warmers, and portable fans. Have a plan for insulating your home in the cold or creating airflow in the heat. And most importantly, know the signs of hypothermia and heat stroke so you can act before it's too late. Because when the power's out, the weather isn't just an inconvenience. It's a fight for survival. 10. Prep failures. The cost of overlooking the basics. By day 2, the cracks in your preparation are starting to show. The mistakes you made, or didn't even realize you were making, are now glaringly obvious. Maybe you stocked up on batteries but forgot to test your flashlights. Maybe your emergency food stash is full of dry goods, but you didn't think to include canned items or a way to cook them. Did you grab a manual can opener, or are you now stabbing cans with a knife like a scene from a survival movie? These aren't minor oversights. They're the kind of mistakes that can turn an inconvenience into a full-blown crisis. Water is another common pitfall. Sure, you hoarded bottles of water, but did you think about what happens when they run out? Without a way to purify water, your stash is just a temporary fix. And let's talk about that backup generator you were so proud of. Did you actually learn how to use it safely, or is it now a carbon monoxide hazard waiting to happen? These are the kinds of details that separate the prepared from the panicked. Then there are the little things that seem insignificant until they're not. Matches, lighters, cash, and a printed list of emergency contacts. Did you think to include those in your prep? What about your emergency kit? Do you even know where it is, or is it buried under a pile of junk in the garage? By day 2, these small oversights start to snowball, and the consequences become harder to ignore. The real kicker? These mistakes don't just cost you convenience. They can cost you your safety, your health, and even your life. Day 2 is a harsh teacher, and the lessons it delivers aren't easy to forget. Prepping isn't a one-and-done deal. It's a continuous process of learning, testing, and improving. If you didn't rotate your supplies, test your gear, or think through your plan, day 2 will make sure you feel the weight of those decisions. As day 2 fades into day 3, the stakes get even higher. Food supplies dwindle, water runs low, and the stress of the situation starts to take a toll on your body and mind. If you're feeling overwhelmed, that's because you should be. Day 2 is the wake-up call, but day 3 is when the real challenges begin. Survival isn't about luck. It's about preparation, planning, and practice. And if you're not ready, the blackout will teach you the hard way. Day 2 of a blackout is the turning point, the moment when the cracks in your preparation start to show and the reality of long-term survival sets in. It's no longer just about the inconvenience of no power. It's about the hidden challenges that most people overlook. From water scarcity and food spoilage to dead phones, fading flashlights, and the creeping dangers of extreme temperatures, Day 2 is where the real test begins. Add in the strain of boredom, the stress of security concerns, and the harsh realization of forgotten essentials like medications and pet supplies, and it's clear that survival isn't just about having a few extra batteries or canned goods. It's about planning for the unexpected and being ready for the long haul. The good news? It's not too late to learn from these challenges. Day 2 is your wake-up call to reassess, adapt, and improve. Stock up on the essentials, test your gear, and make a plan that goes beyond the basics. Think about the things most people forget: hygiene, mental health, security, and the small details that make a big difference. Because the truth is, surviving a blackout isn't just about enduring the darkness. It's about staying safe, healthy, and prepared for whatever comes next. So, take this as your reminder. Preparation isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. The more you plan ahead, the less you'll have to scramble when the lights go out. Day 2 is tough, but it's also an opportunity to get ahead of the challenges that lie ahead. Stay smart, stay prepared, and remember, survival is about more than just making it through the night. It's about thriving, even when the world goes dark.